The vast emptiness of space around the Corvan Prime system had remained undisturbed for 3 centuries. The massive orbital defense platforms hung motionless like sleeping giants, their weapon arrays pointed toward the void. Admiral Vex stood on the bridge of his flagship, gazing through the panoramic viewport at the jewel of the Galactic Empire's core worlds below. "Sir, long-range sensors are detecting anomalous readings at the system's edge," reported Lieutenant Kala from her station. Vex barely glanced over. "Asteroid debris, most likely. The outer rim always generates false readings, but the readings intensified. What began as scattered blips on the sensor grid multiplied exponentially within minutes. First dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of contacts emerged from what the Empire had believed to be empty space. Admiral," Kala's voice carried a tremor now. "These signatures, they're artificial. Ships, sir. Massive formations of them." The Admiral's 4 eyes widened as he processed the impossible data streaming across his screens. The sensor readings showed vessel configurations unlike anything in the Imperial database. Angular, brutal designs that seemed to prioritize function over the elegant curves favored by civilized species. "Impossible," Vex muttered. "No fleet that size could approach undetected. Our deep space monitors would have—" His words died as the first wave of human vessels dropped their stealth fields. Simultaneously, the revelation struck the bridge crew like a physical blow. Where moments before there had been empty space, now stretched an armada that dwarfed anything the Empire had ever assembled. The human ships moved with predatory precision, their formations spreading across multiple vectors as they advanced toward Corvan Prime. Admiral Jack Morgan stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Terra's Fury, watching the Imperial defense platforms slowly rotate to track his fleet's approach. 200 years, he said quietly to Commander Lisa Hayes beside him. 200 years since they glassed Earth's colonies and declared humanity extinct. Hayes nodded grimly. The Empire never bothered to verify their genocide was complete. They assumed we were too primitive to survive their bombardment. "There." "Mistake," Morgan replied. "Signal all task forces. Begin the demonstration." The lead human ships opened fire first. Their weapon systems unleashed energies that made Imperial technology appear crude by comparison. Kinetic projectiles accelerated to significant fractions of light speed, struck the outer defense platforms with devastating effect. The ancient structures, considered impregnable by Imperial standards, crumpled like paper beneath the human assault. The Imperial flagship, chaos erupted across the bridge. Damage reports flooded in as defense platform after defense platform vanished from the tactical display. "How are they penetrating our shields?" Vex demanded. "Those platforms were designed to withstand anything." "Sir, their weapons aren't using energy frequencies we recognize," the tactical officer reported. "Our defensive systems don't know how to respond." The human fleet advanced inexorably, their formation never wavering despite the increasingly desperate Imperial counterattacks. Where Imperial weapons struck human shields, they seemed to accomplish little more than brief flashes of light. The technological gap had become a chasm during humanity's long exile. Admiral Morgan watched the Imperial fleet scramble to form defensive lines. Their ships were beautiful, he admitted silently. Graceful vessels that spoke of a civilization that had grown comfortable with its dominance. But beauty meant nothing in the face of human engineering born from necessity and tempered by survival. "Admiral Vex is hailing us," Hayes reported. "Put him through." The Imperial Admiral's image appeared on the main screen, his alien features twisted with confusion and growing fear. "I am Admiral Vex of the Imperial Navy. Identify yourselves immediately and state your intentions." Morgan stepped forward, his weathered face impassive. "I am Admiral Jack Morgan of the Human Colonial Defense Force. You may remember humanity, Admiral. You tried to erase us from existence 2 centuries ago. Vex's 4 eyes widened in recognition and horror. Impossible. Humans are extinct. We confirmed the destruction of all your worlds. You confirmed the destruction of our colonies, Morgan corrected. But humanity had already spread further than your intelligence networks knew. We spent 200 years preparing for this moment. The tactical display showed human forces now engaging Imperial ships across multiple fronts. The battles were horrifically one-sided. Imperial vessels that had dominated the galaxy for millennia found themselves outclassed in every category. Human ships were faster, more maneuverable, and armed with weapons that cut through Imperial defenses like they were constructed of primitive materials. "This is impossible," Vex whispered as another of his battle cruisers exploded under human fire. "No species advances this rapidly." "Evolution doesn't work that way." "Evolution doesn't," Morgan agreed. "But necessity does. When you face extinction, you either adapt or die. Humanity chose adaptation. The human fleet pressed their advantage, systematically dismantling Imperial forces with clinical efficiency. Centuries of preparation had produced not just superior technology, but superior tactics. Human commanders had studied every recorded Imperial engagement, learning their patterns and weaknesses. Commander Hayes monitored the broader strategic situation. "Sir, Task Force Beta reports similar results at the Nexus system. Task Force Gamma has secured the shipyards at Pelion." Morgan nodded. The human plan was unfolding perfectly. Not just to defeat the Empire, but to demonstrate humanity's return to the galaxy in terms that no species could. Misunderstand Dot as the last Imperial ship in the Corvan system either surrendered or fled. Admiral Vex's flagship hung crippled in space. His final transmission was broadcast across all Imperial frequencies. "All Imperial forces, this is Admiral Vex. Humanity has returned. They are not the primitive species we destroyed. They have become something far more dangerous. Something we created through our own cruelty." Admiral Morgan stood silently as the Imperial forces either surrendered or retreated. The demonstration was complete. Across a dozen core systems, the message had been delivered with overwhelming clarity. "Signal the fleet," he ordered. "Phase 1 is complete. Begin Phase 2. The human armada regrouped and began advancing deeper into Imperial space. Behind them, the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had announced its return not with words, but with the thunder of weapons and the collapse of an empire that had believed itself untouchable. The age of human expansion was about to begin.